What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mouse Bros. Another episode today. We got all the boys here. Cole, what do you got going on today, brother?
I don't got much going on today, but going to Blizzard Beach sometime this week, so I'm excited for that.
I haven't been to Blizzard Beach in so long.
I've never been to Blizzard Beach.
I have a story about Blizzard Beach. I got lost at Blizzard Beach when I was a child.
Okay, hold on. I was just about to say, John, what do you got going on today? But now I think you have to start the episode with that story. That was perfect.
So me and my dad were getting hot dogs, and my mom was at a table, and I went to go get some condiments, and I got lost in the crowd. And next thing you know, my dad couldn't find me, and a cast member found me, and I sat wherever they keep children safe for whatever for hours until my parents came and the guest relations and got me. So that's how I got lost at Blizzard Beach. I was probably like 5 or 6. So
for hours? How big is Blizzard Beach? I've never been.
I mean, okay, when you're like 5 or 6, it felt like hours. It was probably like 15 minutes.
I thought you were gonna say you were like 16 and your dad walked up to people like holding your hand, like, "Is this your child, sir?" He's like,
"No,
I got lost on a big water slide."
No, but I got lost at Blizzard Beach. Yep, sure did.
Lost
haven't
at
been
Blizzard
back since,
Beach.
though. Typhoon Lagoon is the elite of the Disney water parks, but whatever.
Lost at Blizzard Beach sounds like a low-budget, straight-to-DVD horror movie or something.
I don't know.
All right.
What are we getting into this week, man?
And then, I'm here. I'm excited. I'm excited to be back on the podcast. Not much going on, but I have some trips on the books coming up. Not going to say exact dates, but I will be back very, very soon, and I am very excited. I'm very excited to see all the friends and get back into the parks and ride my favorite rides and finally get to experience Guardians, because I feel like I'm the only person who hasn't yet.
Best ride at Walt Disney World.
I have one more thing I'm excited about this week.
Ooh, what's one more thing?
I pre-ordered this like 6 months ago before the show even started, but I have like little Cyrax came in the mail yesterday.
Wait, dude, hold on. Wait, it's
a dragon.
Yes,
it's so cool.
My little Cyrax here too.
I'm sorry for anyone that's listening to the podcast, but they have a Cyrax Funko Pop, and he is or she is perfect. There's also a Caraxes that comes out in like a month.
The Caraxes
that's not the dragon's
sick.
name in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is. No, you're not there yet, John. You'll get there. You're years behind us. We're in House of the Dragon,
John.
I took a pause in Game of Thrones. I was so far. I had to take a step back.
I'm so glad you brought up this pop though, because Cole, because you have it, I've been wondering how beautifully detailed is this pop.
That was what I was about to say to John. Is like, John, you don't get to appreciate this Funko, because here's the thing. We all spent a decade of the early years of Funko where they made bad looking dragon Funko Pops. They were all bad.
I saw them.
Not until the very end, like when Game of Thrones was ending, did they start to look a little bit better. But this is a work of art. I wish it was bigger, but I understand this is supposed to be like juvenile, like first episode Cyrax and everything, because all the pops are from like outfits and what they look like from the first like episode. They haven't gone beyond that yet. Yeah,
no, I'm just very impressed, like, by the creases in the wings and like the details on the chest. It's just a really, really cool pop. I don't know. I loved Cyrax the minute I saw her, so I was like, I need that pop. And now with the Caraxes one, and you are correct, because the dragons were horrible until like season. I mean, it was season. I can't say because I don't want to spoil things for John. But there's only one specific dragon pop that was really nice, but it's because it was towards the end seasons. I'll text it to Cole later. But
I know what you're talking about. It's one of the. I know when you're talking.
You don't even have to say
it. It's this color.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So
I took us off subject. Let Nico get us back on track.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us back on track. I'm gonna try to do that, but I'm the worst because I get off subject too. So we got a couple topics we're talking about today. First, we're going to have a little discussion on Tales of the Jedi, which we all just checked out. It is the new Disney Plus Star Wars animated series from Filoni and Favreau. I mentioned them for a reason, and I will say it when we start the discourse. But after that, we got a little game, and this game is going to be a lot of fun, especially based on everybody's reactions to the clip we posted last week of John having never seen Frozen 2. So, yeah, we're gonna get started, and we're gonna lead right into Tales of the Jedi. And
by the way, I watched Frozen 2, and just let me say this for those who didn't see the TikTok of my reaction to watching Frozen 2, go watch that on our TikTok page. Frozen 2 was like hilarious. The worst hour and a half of my life.
This is what we're talking about. That like we never and rarely disagree. We rarely agree with John. I don't know what like happens in his brain. Sometimes I feel like, and that's not like an insult. Sometimes I feel like it's just like this scene with like the monkey clapping the cymbals together, like in John's head, and he's just like not paying attention to movies. So I'm like, how do you not like
I thought it was a Christmas movie, and next thing you know, they're in the middle of a town, Thanksgiving. Anyways, Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you want to see John's,
more excited to talk about that.
Yeah, if you want to see John's.
Dude. We're changing this to the Mouse Bros and John.
The Mouse Bros and John. That honestly, I'm surprised it didn't start that way. But no, that's why we have John. John is the very clear comic relief. He is our secret weapon because his takes are just so different than so many people, and it honestly creates a great discourse. So I'm very happy that John dislikes a lot of the things that we do, but I have a feeling, I have a very weird feeling today with the Tales of the Jedi discussion, we're all going to be on the same page.
You're all going to be very surprised.
I did not really say anything to the boys all day. I watched it in its entirety today. I kept it to myself, didn't speak about how I felt about it, and I just have to say, I was quite impressed. I could go into heavy detail, and I will. I will go into heavy detail because I am going to let us all talk about it, but I have a laundry list of notes that I want to cover of things that, like, little things I noticed. I knew we were going to be talking about it, so I paid extreme attention. And also, I just want to say, before we get into that, we are not talking about Wakanda Forever today. I know we said we were going to, but we are taking a break from that. We're going to be talking about Wakanda Forever next week, and we are going to have Nemo from TikTok. It's Nemo. If you're on Comic Talk, you obviously know him. He is just so insightful and really, really smart and has actually read comics and has really extensive comic knowledge, so that's going to be great. So I forgot to cover that in the beginning. I just wanted you guys to know because I said last episode we were going to cover it. We are going to skip past Wakanda Forever for this week, which is really hard because all I want to do is talk about it. But yeah, so let's get into Tales of the Jedi.
I'm gonna have to go see it again.
So Sam and her mom's off tomorrow. I'm sending them to see it because her mom didn't get a chance to because she was watching the baby, and then I'm going to see it by myself. And I chose to be the one to go see it alone because I really want to see it by myself. I really love movies alone. I feel like it's really therapeutic, and it is just like a place to be very by yourself in your own world. And also I want to dissect it. I want to get really down into it. I want to go to an afternoon showing where I could have my phone out in my notes and be writing things down, sit in the back where I'm not distracting anybody, because I had not a great experience. I posted it on TikTok. But back to Tales of the Jedi.
So,
yeah. What were you going to say, Cole?
Nicole Kidman. You're literally Nicole Kidman from the AMC trailer. Just going to the movies by yourself, and it feels like magic here.
Listen, Cole, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. We just switched over from our Regal Movie Pass to AMC Stubs A-List. If you don't have a movie pass, get one. You will save so much money, and you get to go to the movies whenever you want. We just switched over, and we were seeing the Regal intro, which, John, if you go to Regal, it's all the random people saying movie lines as they walk into the theater. And then the one girl walks in and does the, "Hey, you guys." And like, that was my Nicole Kidman scene. It was miserable. So when we went to our first movie at AMC in like years, I could appreciate Nicole Kidman's just super dramatic AMC intro because I was so happy to not see the Regal one anymore.
It's our national anthem. It's great.
Oh yeah, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. I'm gonna get it tatted on my forehead. So Tales of the Jedi. I already said I loved it. Just before we go into super details, I want to hear from each of you guys. Are you in on Tales of the Jedi? Are you out? Do you want to see more? Cole, what'd you think?
I loved it. I thought, like, I wasn't sure at first when they announced it at I mean, I was excited when they announced it at D23 because, I mean, that was like one of the only truly new pieces of anything that Lucasfilm gave us. And it's like, or it's truly one of the only things we saw as far as Star Wars went. And like when they're like, oh, it's a miniseries and it's solely about Dooku and Ahsoka, I was like, oh, I'm here for this. I am here for this. And they gave us a little bit, but what it turned out to be, I love how it went chronologically. I love how it told key moments of basically events from just before episode 1 up until the Empire was formed. And I'm like, I loved how they did that because even though it was either one person or the other's story, it still told one story of like the progression of the galaxy towards a conflict. And I loved that.
Yeah. So it was like, it was weird because when I heard Tales of the Jedi, when it was first announced, like years ago, on that giant picture of the timeline, and you saw Tales of the Jedi on there, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a show about Luke. It's going to be live action, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't hear anything about it until, as you said, D23, where out of nowhere they were like, oh, actually, we are still releasing it. It's animated, and guess what? It comes out in a few months. And exactly what you said, it's like, it is, as it was advertised, these smaller stories. Each episode is obviously a different, it's almost anthology style, but it's still serialized where like each prior episode means something to the next or leads into the next. Even switching from Ahsoka's storyline into Dooku's, it was just so cohesive when I thought it was kind of going to be very anthology style, just different little stories. But John, you kind of had slightly mentioned it earlier. What did you think of Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah, so Tales of the Jedi, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really good from start to finish. I think there's 6 episodes in it. I mean, they're like 10 minutes long, so it's like really 15. Easy to watch. Yeah, it's really easy to watch for me because I can't stay focused on anything. But I just like it because it's got the Clone Wars animation. It gives you insight. It gives you really detailed insight on Dooku himself, like as a Jedi, like seeing him within the Order and just the way he reacts to the situations he goes through. I just think it's really good. 10 out of 10 for me, for sure. Would recommend.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually, like, I'll use the word blown away. Like, there was, and now I'm kind of going to start going into detail. I'm going to try and break it down. We'll do quick episode by episode breakdowns, just some notable moments for each of us. But I was like, I really was blown away. I mean, first thing was, you can tell the difference in a Star Wars project that is done by Filoni and Favreau instantly from the score, the animation, and one thing that I'm going to talk about a lot, multiple times, is the facial inflection on animated characters. And I have some specifics that I'll get into, but just the way that it's an animated show that was acted so well. From the voice acting to just the animation, as I said, on their faces, just super impressive, very impressive. And it has that super heart that I feel like you can tell that it's made by people who love the franchise. And I wish that we had Filoni and Favreau on Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that show was great, but it could have been even better. And I feel like if you had put them on it, it could have been that. And you notice it, and it just makes me so excited that they are doing the Ahsoka show. Because if anybody is going to handle that character correctly, it's them too. And leading into Ahsoka, let's talk episode 1 with that freaking adorable, beautiful little baby Ahsoka. Oh my god, how cute. One of the first things I noticed, and I want to get your guys' takes on this, do anybody feel like the Togruta people, which is Ahsoka's race, their tribe is very similar to lions? And the two parallels that I noticed, one being that the hair kind of almost looks like a mane, but the big thing was that the women hunt. Like lions, women hunt and men protect the house, the domain. So that was like the first thing that I noticed, is that the mother takes Ahsoka to go hunting and teach her how to hunt. I don't know what it means or what it's for. It almost to me lends to the bravery and kind of lion spirit that Ahsoka has had, the headstrong fortitude that she's always shown. I don't know. Does that make sense at all?
It makes sense you have the women hunting, and Ahsoka is clearly a woman.
No,
it makes sense to take her hunting. To teach her at a young age how to hunt.
Yeah.
But I don't really look into that much detail of it.
To go beyond that, if you go beyond that, because we don't get much across Clone Wars, which is the only way we get Togruta anything. But what's interesting is one of the big and only arcs having anything to do with any Togruta is the arc where they're like slaves. They've been sold into slavery by another race in Clone Wars, and it's a big story arc with Anakin and Kenobi. And I think that also then speaks a little bit more to what Nico's saying, because like when you talk about species of like creature on this planet that are essentially like desire, like if we look at animals, like what animals desired by like every zoo around the world? It's a lion. It's the king of the it's the king of the jungle and stuff like that, and all this stuff. And they're always like a centerpiece. Well, that was an interesting thing. That's just like, wait a minute, like what is it about the Togruta people that these other races want to capture and sell into slavery and everything like that? Like what sets them apart that makes them desired? And I think that's also a nice little parallel to what you're saying and everything like that. But like I hadn't thought about that, but like with it also then just speaks to like her ability as a fighter and her instincts and the way she cares about everyone she meets. It's very reminiscent of lions and like how protective they are, and how the lionesses are the hunters and things like that.
Yeah, and then of all of that to happen and me to have that idea, for the conflict to involve a giant cat in the first episode, I was like, holy crap. Like this like I feel like these parallels are too similar. That was just something that I thought was little, but now, talking about it more, it's definitely prevalent. And I don't know if it's intentional, but even just as a headcanon, I think it's a really cool thing to kind of consider. One of my other favorite moments, the elder, the like older woman in the village, refers to Ahsoka as Little Soka. And the reason why that like made me so happy is one of my favorite Star Wars characters is the only other person to call her that, and that was Plo Koon. And Plo Koon used to call her Little Soka all the time, and when she said Little Soka, I just knew it was that nod, and it was just like, like it was so familiar, and it just gave me such a smile. And Plo Koon is just such a badass, awesome character that.
Well, he's the one that finds her.
Yeah.
So they probably referred to her as that, like when they reached out, or because I mean the elder would have been the one that, if they like reached out to the Jedi and said she probably would have been the one to communicate with him when he first got there and be like, little Soka, like she's this way. So like it's something that he probably heard when he visited to test her and confirm she was force sensitive.
Yeah, and the elder is the one who literally
respectful.
Yeah, and the elder is the one who literally says, when she comes back from the village and everybody's like, what happened? She said, she is Jedi. So it would make sense for her to be the one she is obviously conscious of what the Jedi are, who the Jedi are, because, not everybody just knows a Jedi and is like, would know that, like, oh, she was able to tame a giant space tiger through the Force and through the living Force. So she obviously has some knowledge, and that would make sense to reach out to the Jedi. They send Plo Koon, who was very high ranking at the time, and her maybe saying something, and I would love to see it down the line, maybe saying something like, take care of my little Soka, or, this is Ahsoka Tano, blah, 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 I love her like she's my own. This is our little Soka. And I don't know, maybe that is why he calls her that. And it's just like, again, and we'll go as we go through this, there's so many parallels to the Clone Wars and Rebels even, that it's just like, wow, they paid attention to every single detail. And another one of the final, like, beautiful, crazy moment I'm going to talk about in the episode was Ahsoka's mother, the scene where she takes her hunting and first tells her to value life, and then almost immediately after kills something. And I was like, and at first I was like, why would she tell her to value life and then go and kill something? This makes no sense. And then she turns to her and says that you must face death and not fear it. And it goes all the way to episode 5 of this show, when she's with Rex at the end and they bring us back to the Clone Wars. Not sure why they had to do that to us. And she walks out and obviously episode 5 is all about the training, but between the training she gets from Anakin in that episode and the first episode being about her not fearing death, the way she walks out to face all these clone troopers alone with Rex, every single detail that they show in this show makes sense and lends to the character and their backstories that we didn't really get, because we just jump into Ahsoka's story in the Clone Wars. So
listen, let's just talk about episode 5, because you brought it up right now. We'll talk about Ahsoka's episodes, and then we can talk about Dooku's episodes.
Dooku. Yeah, that works for me.
That episode, man, that one was hard. Like, because that is one, it starts off hard because you see her training, and I mean, everyone that means anything to her is in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, little Kanan, who I was not expecting to see. And I thought that was the coolest thing. When I literally was like, that's Kanan. And Kaylee was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I was like, that is so cool that he saw how cool it then speaks to when he sees her later on or whatever, like as a Padawan. That's probably one of his only times of seeing Ahsoka in any kind of combat capacity, and to see how skilled she was, you could see he had a level of respect and awe for her. So then finding out later that she's one of the rebel that's been feeding them info in Rebels, spoilers for Rebels if anyone hasn't watched it, but I mean, come on at this point.
Who is Fulcrum?
Yeah, it's just it just adds to that. So even that, adding that nod to Rebels was great. But just another thing I noticed that I felt was key, because obviously Anakin starts her whole training regimen, and anyone who's watched all of Clone Wars knows that that episode is so deep, because without that training, she would not have survived Order 66. And so it's just really deep, but also you notice, because I mean, it does the parallel, it does that, and then it does the perfect transition to her right before the events of Order 66, and then with Rex during Order 66. But when she's doing that training with the as grown Ahsoka, And that's on. I mean, I think that was on the way to Mandalore, if I'm not mistaken. Like when she had that last training before 66, because that was right before Anakin leaves. Because I mean, she looked old. It looked like she was the age that she came back. Like she's no longer a Jedi. That was her back with them just for that mission. Am I right in thinking that's when that was?
Yeah. The training part of that takes place a long while before, but once it gets to the
then
end of the
when it
episode,
transitioned,
yeah, and you see like she has
part
like
at the
the
end
headband
where she has two lightsabers, because before that she didn't have two lightsabers for the longest time. And then they gave her a second.
I know, yeah.
So.
When she wakes up from being stunned and all of a sudden she has two lightsabers and she's older,
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look at it, but I'm
Mandalore.
pretty sure that scene, the ship she's on and practicing with them again, yeah, it's on the way to Mandalore. So it's right before Anakin leaves to go do his own mission, and so she's not Jedi anymore, but she's back with them. But I thought something that was interesting is like she's still doing that training regiment with them. She's still practicing with them, even after years of not doing it with them. And it's probably like a warm up to her. Like we don't see that, but this is probably that's something that's become like a daily kind of like meditative, almost kind of like gearing herself up for going into a mission. But what was the one thing I want to get at with that is she was taking everything they were throwing at her, but then the one person that caught her off guard still was Rex, and Rex snaps out of it during 66. So it's just kind of like this parallel too, that the only person that could stop her still was this friend. That I mean, if he hadn't snapped out of it, she also wouldn't have lived. Like there would have been.
And let's talk about this. It just occurred to me as we're sitting here, and I have chills thinking about it and about to say it. That entire episode is Anakin teaching Ahsoka and pushing her past her limit, because the threat can always be deeper. There's always going to be this looming, impending threat. And he was training her to be ready for what he was going to do. He was training her for against this impending threat, which was him. He was the threat that she was going to have to face, that was worse than anything, that no matter what, she had to keep going, because you have to protect yourself. Guess who you have to protect yourself against? Me, Anakin Skywalker is who you have to protect yourself against. It's like again, you use the word, but the parallels in this show are freaking insane. Like, it feels like it fills in a lot of emotional gaps in the Clone Wars, where you were like, wow, this is amazing. And then now this show is like, okay, here are the nuanced details of why that was so amazing. I want to go back and watch the last season of the Clone Wars, because now I want to compare it with what's going on in Tales of the Jedi. And one of the things that I had kind of said, and it was the last note that I had on here for Ahsoka's episodes, is I was definitely not ready for the end of episode 5 to lead us into the Clone Wars, but I was certainly not ready for episode 6 to open on Padme's carcass.
Oh my gosh, I know. Her at the funeral, knowing that Ahsoka was there, I'm like, no.
Literally, like, and you see her in the crowd, and now you know, like, this is the first time we knew that she was in touch with Bail Organa. Like, Ahsoka's episodes were beautiful and incredibly tragic and smart and great, but now I want to lead, unless you guys have anything else to say about Ahsoka's episodes, into those incredible.
The ending of episode 5 changes the way you look at the best Star Wars movie, Revenge of the Sith, and the ending of that.
Oh, Christ.
Just one. Okay, John, no, stop. Just stop. The only other thing is, because I don't know if it's canon anywhere, like if they basically made or put into canon a non-canon book character, but who was that Inquisitor?
Yo,
have you not read the Ahsoka book?
I have not, but that's what I'm asking you. Who is that Inquisitor? I mean, she cuts him down like nothing. But
so in the Ahsoka book, it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling it, but I'm going to anyways. So you kind of pick up a couple years after Order 66. Ahsoka's on her own. She doesn't want to be involved with anything. She's kind of jumping around from planet to planet, trying to just find work and live a normal life, kind of like how we saw Kenobi living a normal life. It's something along the lines of that. Well, she comes across this farm planet, and she's very mechanically inclined. So she starts help fixing parts. They give her a job, blah blah blah, and so that's kind of how that led into the Inquisitor part. That episode is the ending of the Ahsoka book. That whole entire thing, like the Inquisitor comes.
What's that guy called?
Jedi. I have no idea.
Is he first brother?
He's probably one of the brothers. He has a very.
I don't remember the name of him, but that's like that whole episode is literally the end of the Ahsoka book. It's just that so, or listen to it on audiobook. Audiobook was great.
I had to catch my breath because when I saw the bottom of the mask like being pointed, I was like, "Is Revan alive?" But then I realized it was an Inquisitor.
Kind of sucks that it's like they created like such a dope character.
It was
out
definitely
of that.
meant to be parallel.
Like they created such a cool character out of that one Inquisitor, and then they killed him off within 20 seconds of us ever seeing his actual face. It was kind of devastating because he's the coolest looking Inquisitor we've ever seen.
Also, she cut him. She cut him, and then his helmet fell and deflated.
He deflated. Yeah,
so was he some sort of fluid being? Because he
had a mechanical man.
I was confused. By her, because she cut him, and then the head fell, and then it just deflated, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Go read the Ahsoka book. It's really good. It's a short read, real easy. I've read it and I've listened to the audiobook, so you can get best of both worlds, I guess. But that's what that's from.
You've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. John can read.
I read a lot of books. Ask Sarah. I just want to talk about it.
I just got into reading again. I'm
working on the Old Republic or whatever it's called right now. The High Republic book.
Gotta read Kingdom Keepers, bro.
I want to jump on those.
So good.
But I mean, the Ahsoka episodes they were good, but I mean they were well put together. But if we're picking and choosing here, the Dooku episodes was far better in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it covered really the beginning of his descent into dark.
Yeah, I say that lightly because I mean, obviously we don't see Dooku until episode 2. And what I think is real interesting when they're at that little town and they're talking and because I didn't know this at first that who was standing with him was a young Padawan Qui-Gon Jinn. So I thought that was really cool to see.
Yeah, so let's get into that episode because the first thing that I noticed when he was with, a Padawan is I was like, that's Qui-Gon. If they're not going to say his name, that's Qui-Gon. Obviously, I know from legends and from books that Qui-Gon was Dooku's Padawan, but
yeah, I had figured it was, but I wasn't gonna jump into it. I figured it was they were just taking someone else with them. And it was focused on him.
So that first episode, Dooku sees the corruption in the Senate, and
which I thought was really interesting. So
yeah,
in that episode, when they walk into the bar, Dooku's where's the senator's son, blah blah blah, and the lady she goes, you're here under the order of the Republic. Which was really interesting because Dooku's response to that as a young, I guess, Jedi at this point was, we're not here for the Republic. We're here under the Jedi Council. We don't serve the Republic. We serve the people of the Republic. Because at that time, the Republic wasn't as corrupt as it ends up being towards the end of episode 3. So what's interesting is Dooku was still wanting to see change and still wanting people to be free and have a good life and see all the positivity. He was also learning at the same time the Republic is corrupt, the Jedi is becoming corrupt, and there's only a few Jedi who aren't seeing it. Really?
Oh, yeah, I loved the way they told Dooku's story because they told it in such a way that just repeatedly, yeah,
he was a pure Jedi. He really was I'm a good Jedi, but I'm seeing the corruption and you see it in Anakin as well. If the Jedi Council told him go to wherever, go to Kashyyyk and talk to the Wookiee and go home, he's not going to go to Kashyyyk, talk to the Wookiee and go home. he's gonna figure the whole situation out and go past what the council tells him to do. And Anakin and Dooku both do that same thing, which is really interesting considering they've both become Sidious's apprentice.
The difference, however, with Anakin versus Dooku, Anakin's motivations and the reason he turns to the Sith is purely selfish.
No.
They play on his selfishness, which lends to Sidious being able to really play on the things that make people tick. Because you see with Dooku's turn to Sith is solely based on the fact that he thinks they will create better change, that they
did believe that
take things an extra step.
Yeah, he really did. They were going to make they were going to make the galaxy great again, as one would say. Like, they really believed that. And that's what's really interesting. So yeah, there's just the differences there of, Anakin's was more selfish, and he was like, I'm doing this for me because screw the Jedi Council, they didn't make me master, which we'll touch on Dooku and Windu's little conversation they had after that one mission about the Council. That was interesting. Dooku's episodes were way better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were great. And then I also want to talk about the parallel between Yoda versus Dooku and then Yaddle versus Dooku, because we got to see Yaddle fight, and it was very parallel to Yoda versus Dooku, and obviously Yaddle has a similar fighting style to Yoda. But I don't know. I was just really excited to see Yaddle fight. I thought that was really cool because we haven't really seen her do anything other than sit in a chair.
Cole, what do you think about Dooku's episodes?
Yeah.
I love them, but real quick about Yaddle. So basically what that whole thing taught me is that Yoda talks the way he talks by choice. Because Yaddle just spoke normal, and she had really good diction, and like she just commanded the room. And I'm like, as she talked, and I'm like, Yoda, what are you playing at, dude?
Maybe he's older. I don't know. Is he older?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're just being being a crazy old man the way you're talking. Like, you're just doing this for shits and giggles. Like, what the heck, dude? I mean, it could be like where he learned English and he didn't learn it the same way. I understand that's possible, but like literally watching her like come in and confront Dooku, I'm like, hold up, Yaddle. Why you talking normal? What's going on here?
Since we're talking about talking, did Dooku sound like Severus Snape? Because I felt
a lot like him.
I felt like the voice of Dooku was very like, turn to page 394. Like, it was very
Dooku's always been a little bit like that, especially Clone Wars Dooku. I'm pretty sure
it is, but
isn't it the same voice actor?
He looked like a young Snape in this series, though. If you go look at like the flashbacks.
Listen, man.
Yeah, I was definitely getting Snape vibes.
Dooku's already in Harry Potter.
He is.
Yeah.
He stops the train. He's one of the Death Eaters. He stops the train on the way. There's a dude in go back and watch it. It's in whatever. I think it's in Order of the Phoenix. There is a Death Eater that stops the train on the way to Hogwarts that looks exactly like Dooku, from head to toe, outfit, hair, beard, everything just looks like Dooku dropped into Harry Potter for a minute. You never see the dude ever again, but he's there.
The multiverse is wilding out.
Thanks for giving me a reason to watch Harry Potter yet again. The last thing I'm going to say about the Dooku episodes, and then I'll let you guys talk if there's anything else you want to say, is just one line. It is my favorite line in the entire Tales of the Jedi series, and it's when Dooku says to Sidious, "You question my loyalty?" And Sidious responds, "Always." I was like, Yup, and that is what makes Sidious a god tier villain and gives him the leg up on everybody else, because he knows that he's turned these people to the dark side, and the same way they turn to him, they can turn back. And the one person that he didn't question their loyalty, aka Darth Vader, in the end, he fully trusted him, and that was his demise. Another freaking insane parallel. Like, literally every word has purpose in Tales of the Jedi, and it makes the title Tales of the Jedi mean so much more. These aren't just small stories. These are reasons. We are giving you reasons. We are giving you nuance The word
Vader
nuance
killed him in episode 6.
That was my whole point. That was the entire point I just made, John.
I know.
John, don't be Bert Kreischer. Don't be just waiting for your turn to talk. Listen to us talk.
I am. That's what I'm saying. Until he killed him in episode 6, he fully.
No, but yeah, But that is the point that I'm making. Is he says, "You question my loyalty," and he says always, because he would always question anybody's loyalty. And then finally, Vader, who had been loyal to him for years and years and years now, he didn't question his loyalty, and he's just sitting there screaming, "Do it, get him!" And Vader's like, "Nah, I'm gonna save my son. I'm cool on this evil shit."
See, obviously episode 3 was really interesting in Tales of the Jedi with Dooku. Him and Windu go on that mission. They figure out it was, the Senators folks who killed the Jedi. I thought it was interesting that at the end right there, you kind of, this is just me looking at it in a different way, I guess, but you see, Mace Windu already knew he was going to get that council spot when, and I think that was kind of like Dooku's turning point. Like, yeah, screw these people. Like, I'm out here solving the world's problems for y'all, but because I'm not listening to exactly what you want me to do, but I'm still
really
getting the shit
Mace
done.
Windu the you bitch look. He really like you.
Well, that was just more of it. What I was starting to get at earlier is just like Dooku's episodes were so good in the way that they just repeatedly kind of built
Screwed him
up
over?
his distrust in government. And when I say government means just like the Senate as well as the Jedi Council. He just like was one thing after another, because then like Duke or Mace Windu getting promoted, he's just like, okay, like, do you know that
I solved this problem. I'm the one who told us that we should go to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, you just wanted to go pick up her body.
You just wanted to go pick up her body and get a gold star. Like, I'm figuring it out for us, and you're just wanting to get a gold star because you're just built that way, I guess. Nah, so that
guys,
was interesting. But
who does that sound similar to? Who does that sound very similar to? Anakin Skywalker.
Exactly.
That's another parallel. The Jedi Council not putting their trust where they need to.
So this is what's really interesting. Because obviously you hear a lot about Sifo Dyas throughout the Clone Wars series, and you hear a lot about Sifo Dyas throughout the movie. I think it was the second movie we hear about Sifo Dyas, or the third movie. I can't remember.
It's the second one.
Second movie, yeah. Whenever Kenobi was Kamino, obviously Kenobi can't find how to get to Kamino, which was interesting because nobody really knew who deleted Kamino off the map, but now we do. It was Dooku all along deleting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, that's just interesting to me, because that arc in the Clone Wars where like Sidious is talking to Dooku and he's like, I thought you handled this years ago, bro. Like, why is Sifo Dyas coming back up? Why are the Jedi interested in Sifo Dyas? Why are they searching up Kamino? What's going on here? Like, why are they trying to figure this out? So, starting of episode 4, when they're in the library or whatever, and he clocks in as Sifo Dyas and he deletes where Kamino is, I just thought that was interesting. That's the stuff that I like. The parallels are common and simple, but that's just really interesting to see.
But yeah, all in all, Tales of the Jedi, perfect.
Go watch it, guys.
If they want to do it again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is excellent. I do recommend that you watch the Clone Wars, though. You need to watch the Clone Wars. You're not going to know what's going on.
If you're one of those people who are like, I'm not watching animated Star Wars, then you have no clue what you're missing out on.
You're sorely missing out.
The animated Star Wars is way better than live action Star Wars has ever been. Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to put it out there. That's what I was gonna. And it fills in so many blanks and so many gaps, and it creates emotion in your attachment to these characters who you barely even know from the movies and live action.
It starts out really childish. It starts out as a kid show, but I think they realized really quickly on that their audience was not kids.
And season 4 is when it starts to really pick up and get more detailed within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and one of the my like final thought that I had to close out.
This includes Rebels. Go watch Rebels.
Yeah, Rebels is fire. People Rebels who say it isn't are uncultured swine. But my very final thought that I was going to close out with was this show, even, Clone Wars is, but this show, of all the animated shows, is incredibly mature. Incredibly mature. Like, the themes and the, like, sink into madness and rise into the light, and the parallels between these two characters and trauma and dealing with what they've dealt with. The show is so mature, and
it's Final Four episode energy. It's the final. It's the Siege on Mandalore. It's like everyone looks at that as being better than even freaking other movies. I mean, I say it anytime anyone asks me what my favorite Star Wars movie is, I'm go, oh, it's the last 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars.
It's very good.
Like, it should be a movie. It's been cut together into a movie. It is brilliant because it is so deep and emotional, and it's from the two people that know Star Wars fans the best and stuff like that. And so here they give you a no kidding, like, it is a little anthology series, and it is brilliant. It is deep. It is emotional, and it's exactly in line with that energy because they realized how much people loved that energy.
It's a good way to start watching Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, this show was...
Wars, and then going, like, to the first 3 movies and then just continuously follow after that. But, you need to...
This show was
really good.
A tier, maybe S tier.
It's an S tier show.
It's up there with some of the best that Star Wars has ever put out. It really is.
If you're picking and choosing negatives about it, then you're just being overly picky about the show, about a short show.
My only negative that I was gonna bring up is I was gonna be like, oh well, it was too short, but I feel like I feel like after watching the entire thing, it was the perfect amount.
It was perfect.
I feel like every moment of every episode was essential. There was no filler. That's kind of why I liked the 15-minute episode format. It was straight to conflict.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We
didn't need backstory on these characters. We know these characters.
People say that, sitting there saying, "Oh, it's short," and I'm like, you're either saying that because you've never watched it, or you're just a Star Wars fan, and you're just saying that you just like Star Wars and you're just watching this, but you don't know, like, the backstory of Ahsoka, or you don't know the backstory of Dooku, or you don't know how tied some of these people to these characters are. So, like, I don't think it's too short. I think it's perfect. It's perfect. Because it fills in gaps where gaps need to be filled along the line between books and other shows, and it ends up being really interesting and really detailed with both main characters they're focusing on in the show.
I mean, listen, there's no right or wrong way to watch Star Wars, and I'm big on. I believe in the fact that, like, you can't tell somebody that because you haven't seen the Clone Wars, you're not as big of a fan as I am. Yeah. However, if you
understand a lot of things within the new stuff,
a Star Wars fan, do yourself the service of watching it, because I'm not going to say you're less of a fan than I am, but you might be 10 times more of a fan than I am after watching the Clone Wars, because it is an essential piece of Star Wars media. I mean that. It is essential. It is must watch. It is things that you need to know. Ahsoka Tano is a very important character in this overarching story, and there's just so much. There's so much that the Clone Wars tells us that that abysmal Attack of the Clones movie left out. Like, that is one of
it's insane, guys. Go watch animated Star Wars. It's the best. It is some of the best television you'll ever watch. But Nico, you said you had a game for us to play. What's this game we're talking about?
So hold on real quick.
I was going to say, Cole, I feel like you had one more thought.
Mr. Beard has something to say.
Because I went and pulled it up.
Oh, brother.
I'm going to show you real quick, because you need to see this, because this is, you're going to laugh, and it's going to carry us right into our fun little mini game, and we'll make sure to make a TikTok out of this so you guys can see this. But I have to show you Dooku in Harry Potter. I found an image. I found a good image.
Oh, God.
That this, hold on. Tell me that is not Dooku in Harry Potter.
Hold on, it's loading.
Look at this man.
Hey, yo, bro.
And the fact that he stops the train with his hand, not with his wand, not with magic. He holds his hand out like he's doing the freaking Force. Whoever put this scene in Harry Potter is a Star Wars fan.
That
doesn't look like It's like young Dooku. It's like Dooku just before the movies Dooku.
It's literally like cloaked ponytail Dooku.
Using the Force to stop the Hogwarts Express. Okay, time to go into the minigame.
All right, so that was fun.
That's
I'm
awesome.
glad we got to talk Tales of the Jedi. Hopefully we get another season with maybe
I
some.
can talk Star Wars all day. I'm more of a Star Wars fan than a Marvel fan.
Yeah, so I got my Drink Around the Galaxy tour shirt on. But yeah, so the game we have today, as I said, it pertains to our funny little clip last week of John never having seen Frozen 2. And I thought to myself, I texted the boys and I was like, if John hasn't seen Frozen 2, what other Disney movies has John not seen? So we're going to switch gears back to Disney, away from Star Wars, and this game is called Has John Seen It? So, very straightforward. Cole and I have both picked a handful of movies. We are going to read them aloud. We're going to write down and show our answers, and we will obviously read them out loud, but this is just for the sake of not cheating or not having any discussion of influencing each other. Oh, well, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun because we have some movies that I feel like are going to be like, oh yeah, of course he's seen these movies. He's a Disney fan. He's a huge Disney fan.
I know this is really off topic, but and this is Disney related, but it's not Disney related. I would just like to say that I am so jealous of like Disneylanders, like the Disneyland people who listen to us. Like, shout out to you guys because you guys get the dopest churros at the coolest times. They just released a mint chocolate chip churro over in Disneyland, and that sounds delicious. What are we doing over here in Orlando? I have no idea anymore. Back to our regular scheduled programming.
Did you just interrupt the game to announce a toothpaste flavored churro?
No, not a mint chocolate chip. Not toothpaste, mint chocolate chip. With mint chocolate dipping chip sauce. With mint dipping sauce. That, like, holiday season, I can't wait to go to Disneyland next year. I can't wait.
That sounds like a toothpaste flavored churro with toothpaste dipping sauce.
You know what else they have? You know what other churro they have that I saw? They also have a apple spice churro. Apple spice churro over there.
All right,
for the holiday season.
That probably slaps.
With a dipping sauce. All I'm saying is for my Disneyland people, I'm jealous of you. Anyway, let's just get back to the game.
This is the difference in us and priorities, because John's like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland because I want myself a toothpaste-flavored churro. And I'm like, I want to go to Disneyland because there's a giant Chitala, like, there's a giant freaking Black Panther.
Oh, yeah, the Black Panther memorial thing, bro. The memorial, that was dope.
Yeah. That was dope. Churro. You can go get your churro, sir.
To our headphones users, I just want to apologize for John. When he gets passionate, he screams into the microphone.
That was cool. I haven't seen Black Panther yet, but I'll go see it like whenever I have time. But that the little panther statue was cool. I hope that stays in Adventure
time. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm not supposed to say it. Okay, for my listeners,
so
I'm not a big movie goer. Like, if it was up to me, I would just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Guys, there's something you should know about John.
They released on Disney Plus. I'm busy man these days. They released on Disney Plus so fast, and I'm like, I just wait for it to come out on Disney.
John just found out last year that there are not only end credit scenes at all.
No, I knew there were end credit scenes. I didn't know there were 2 end credit scenes.
That was a revelation in our group chat.
I didn't know there were 2 end credit scenes.
John made it a decade not knowing that there are 2 end credit scenes. That's the thing too. It astonishes me your ability to remain in the dark in this digital age and be still involved in pop culture.
Oh my god, he does that all the time. All the time in the group chat. All the time.
This is what's confusing to me because, like, it's one thing if you're like, say, your spouse, like you're with someone who they're the pop culture person, so like you've seen things, you know things because of them, and like you're that person, but you're not. Like you on your own have chosen to like and watch certain things, yet are so in the dark about so many things. Like, how did you go 10 years of the MCU and not have the internet in some way, shape, or form explain to you just by pure happenstance that there are 2 end credit scenes? Like, how did you? I don't know how you managed to make it that long and not know.
I don't
John
know.
is the definition of ignorance.
Because here's the thing,
bliss.
I didn't really start like watching movies for like details and plots and like putting things together until like 5 years ago.
I'm not.
So,
You
like,
never
honestly,
questioned why no one got up when you got up at the end of the Marvel movie,
so
or when
like
you
I
got up
would,
after the
no, I
post
always knew there was an
aren't-
end credit scene, so I'd watch it. But like, I would just watch the movie because I just enjoy the movie. Like, I wouldn't think that much detail of. The
I mean,
movie.
you still aren't crazy. You still aren't crazy analytical. I mean, especially in this
No.
group, Cole and I are so like dissect movies, watch every movie. We love movies.
Now, Star Wars, I've always been that way about Star Wars, but Marvel, I'm just like, there's so much in Marvel. Like, I think Phase 4 of Marvel is just terrible. But, like, I'm so bored of Phase 4 that, like, I'm just like, I gotta watch this to know what's going on in this movie that happened 2 years ago. Like, I get why they're doing it. I understand that, but it's just, like, to the average movie lover, it's boring.
I don't think you have the attention span.
I don't.
For it.
I don't.
I think that's what it, and that's not an insult. That's just, I know you. We've been friends for a while now. I just don't think you have the attention span to keep up with a shared universe like that.
And Sarah can back you up on that because we'll be sitting down watching like a movie or a show, and I'll get up and just start playing video games because I'm bored. This is boring to me.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't sit here and watch this.
But I mean, I think that having you on here,
that's why I'm a big David Dobrik fan, because his vlogs are like 4 minutes and 20 seconds long.
420 every single vlog.
I swear to God, it is. It's like 420, 425 every single time.
No, John, his vlogs are intentionally 4 minutes and 20 seconds long. Every single one is 420.
I noticed that a few years ago. They're literally like right after.
John, do you know why 420?
It's like a weed thing, isn't it? Like that's that's like that's like it's what's his face's birthday, the Jamaican guy Bob Marley.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Like a big like April like 4 like that's the day you like go.
420 started because a bunch of dudes would consume at that time in college, and they were like, "Let's make it a tradition, bro." And then the day April 20th came, and they were like, "This should be National Consumption Day." It literally was just a bunch of idiots in college. It had nothing to do with Bob Marley.
All right, we're going to get off the narcotics and go back to Disney now.
Well, do you know what used to be in real churros?
Well, I mean, they had crack cocaine in the original formula of Coca-Cola.
back in the 1950s, if you went to, or no, the 60s, it opened. If you went to
didn't exist, it was crack.
If you went to Disneyland in the 60s and got yourself a Coke and a churro, you were feeling wild on Small World.
Why do you think Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was great?
You're literally sitting there with your friends like, it really is a small world, isn't it?
Oh, man. The doll is talking to me.
Well, yeah, the thought I've been trying to get out before we flew off the rails is the fact that John isn't so analytical is great for the podcast because it gives a perspective of somebody who just like wants to watch a movie and then watches a movie.
Like, I can sit down and watch a Marvel movie, but if she wanted me to sit down and watch Twilight, I'd lose my mind.
I love Twilight.
I'd get so bored.
God,
okay,
it's such a guilty pleasure.
Let's do our mini game, Nico.
Okay. Mini game. Oh my God, my chair just dropped. So mini game. We're gonna talk about. Obviously, we're gonna say a movie. Cole and I have written down on each side. We have a yes or a no, and that's kind of how we're gonna go from here. So my whole
nose.
My first movie. Yeah, you can see the yes on this side, no on this side. My first movie, and I made the first one kind of hard because this is a Disney movie that not everybody has seen. And I think a lot of people have seen it, but it's not one that, I mean, I haven't rewatched it a bunch of times. I probably don't remember it all that much. I know I've seen it, but we're going with The Sword and the Stone.
I almost put that down. John, have you seen The Sword and the Stone?
Wait, he's not supposed to tell us yet.
Oh.
We have to reveal our answer, and then you almost messed up the whole game. All right.
No, just say what do you think he has or not? Because I've already told you my whole list is things I don't think he's seen.
I think he has seen The Sword and the Stone. Cole?
I agree. I don't think he's seen it.
No, I think he has seen it. So.
I don't think he's seen it.
So differing answers. John, have you seen The Sword in the Stone?
I've never watched The Sword in the Stone.
You know, my initial reaction was to say, my initial reaction was to say he didn't see it, but I was like, I feel like this is one he's going to surprise us with.
So I have started watching it at one point.
But he's never finished.
But I've got about I'd say close to 50% of the way through, and I got really bored. And
so that's a half point each. That's a half point.
I would say I don't want to do half points. I just say we both get a point.
We both get a point there.
I saw him do what JoJo will never do, and that is pull the sword from the stone. That's when I stopped watching, because that's all I needed to know.
Jeez. Right. Well, I mean, obviously that was a great first round choice because he has and hasn't seen it. So this is a testament to probably exactly how this is going to be. And now this adds a whole other wrinkle into the game because we don't know what John has only seen 50% of. So like this is
so all of a sudden I went from what I thought was going to be a point or no point to now we've gone to soccer rules where it's like a point, a win, a loss, or a tie.
Draw. Oh man! All right, Cole. What's your first movie?
I'll give you half a point for that, but from now on, if I haven't seen the whole movie, I'll just say no. I'll keep you there.
Okay, this is actually one that's on my list. I hope that you have seen this. Big Hero 6.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. John has seen it. Wait, I don't know because he reacted and he's not supposed to react. Look on his face. And now I'm gonna say no. I have to say no. He obviously hasn't.
No, you can't change your answer. You can't change your answer. You said yes. We're both in agreement. We think he's seen it. John?
Okay, we both think he's seen it.
I'm not laughing because I haven't seen it. I'm laughing because I know Cole so well that was going to be his first movie, and of course I've seen Big Hero 6.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Jeez,
that's why I'm laughing because I knew it was going to be his first choice of movie.
These reactions are killing me, man. Just like put a mask on.
He had me concerned for a second. Okay,
yeah, for real. He looked like he had that look on his face, like, "Oh my god, I'm going to disappoint these men."
I love Baymax. Baymax is one of my favorite meet and greets in Disney World.
I just want to go to Tokyo and eat him. Like
I'm very
Baymax
excited
rice?
for.
You saw the melted Baymax rice?
Yes,
I'm very excited for the San Francisco thing. I forget
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
I'm very excited for that. If that decides to come to Disneyland, if that does happen.
He said San Francisco, and John was like, "Yeah, San Francisco."
Whatever.
All right.
But speaking of, real quick, just small tangent. When I posted about that, because that blew up when I posted about it at the convention, the amount of people arguing, like, listen, I've lived in San Fran my entire life, and I've never seen. I'm like, it's a fictional version of San Francisco.
That's like saying like Australia looks like Batu.
Like there were people,
the type of people who will be like
with each other.
Those are the type of people who will be walking around Disney and be like, "Oh, hey, Baymax," and then be like, "San Francisco isn't real." It's like, "Oh, do you also have a giant inflatable medical robot who doubles as a superhero?"
There is one element of Big Hero 6 that now I really want to understand where the concepts came from, because I don't know if anyone's watched The Man in High Castle on Amazon Prime.
I want to watch it so bad.
I've watched a little bit of it, but the whole premise of that show is it's an alternate reality where we lost World War II. But here's the thing. If we had lost World War II, San Francisco would have been far more influenced by Japanese culture. So, what events in the Big Hero 6 universe led to San Francisco? I'm really questioning now. Cole. I'm really questioning what the outcome of World War II was.
So in the multiverse, in Baymax, Big Hero 6, America lost World War II, and
yep. That's what I'm going with because it tracks.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's your conspiracy theory for the week. Go down the Reddit hole and tell us what you find.
And also that would be a kind of world event that would lead to secret identity American superheroes like what's his face's father at the end of the movie. Okay.
Jeez.
Nico,
what's your movie?
Deep cuts.
Second
All
movie.
right. So I almost 100% want to say no, and I just put this movie in because I really love it. But we're going DComs now, and I feel like this is one that John could surprise us with what he's seen. But based on his age, I don't think so. I'm going Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Oh,
I've never seen it, but I've heard good things about it.
Dude.
Oh, shit.
You got I was gonna listen. I was legitimately gonna say he's never seen it. There's no way he's seen that. John, you know what? I think I have the power to mute you.
I'm gonna mute myself
until we've spoken.
It's the whole point of the game. It's the whole point of the game.
What were you gonna say? Did you think he'd seen it?
He said I haven't seen it.
But I've heard good things.
I would have got a point because I said no. Obviously,
Okay, well,
John is screaming nothing.
I said no as well. Okay.
All right, Cole.
John,
what's your movie?
Yeah. I'm also going with the Disney Channel original. I'm curious about this because he's seen High School Musical. He made reference to some other things on the last podcast. And I'm really curious. I don't think he has. Have Nico, you weigh in on this? Mute yourself, John.
Are you going to say Descendants?
No. Oh, that would have been. No. I'm going with Johnny Tsunami.
Oh, dude. I will be legitimately angry if the answer to this is no. Like, I don't
think he's seen it.
I don't know.
So you think he has?
I don't know. I haven't given my answer yet because I don't know. I really don't. Either he's seen it and he absolutely loved it, or he's never seen it and has no idea what it even is. But he's 26 years old.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now from the look on his face. From the look on his face, he's either trying to trick us right now or he's literally Googling Johnny Tsunami. And the look on his face, I think he was trying to figure out how to spell tsunami. Okay. So you think he has seen it?
Suenahme. Tsunami.
Okay, I'm bringing it back. Yes. No? Yes. Okay. Let's.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's seen it. I'm gonna say he's seen it.
You're back. You're live, John.
Yes, I've seen it, and I've seen the prequel or the sequel, Back on Board, whatever it's called, where they're doing the skateboard.
John. Let's go, baby. 1 point lead. Let's go. What are you gonna talk about me? Put some respect on my name. I just couldn't. I couldn't see.
I know how to spell tsunami. It starts with a T.
I was gonna say, if he is 26 years old, all I can remember is that Johnny Tsunami was marketed crazy. I mean, I'm 28. I'll be 29 next week. Oh my god. Yeah, my birthday's coming up. If anybody was wondering. But John seeing, I couldn't imagine that the marketing for Johnny Tsunami didn't get him to see that movie because that commercial was everywhere, and that movie was like god tier when it came out. So I'm happy he has seen it. That would have been
I am glad too. I will sacrifice a point to know that he has seen it.
All right, so
the disrespect.
I'm gonna hit the classics
it's
here.
It's not even that they think I didn't see it. It's that they didn't think I knew how to spell tsunami.
Those were both Cole's takes. Cole didn't think you saw it, and Cole thought you didn't know how to spell tsunami. So that was both Cole's takes. I am not complicit.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't have thought I could spell tsunami either.
All right, let's go. I'm between a couple. I really want to say the Cheetah Girls, But I'm gonna. I don't know why something's like Cheetah Girls, but I'm gonna stick with the theme of cats. Instead of cheetahs, I'm gonna go with a movie I used to watch with my grandma, and a movie that I'm gonna just say before I even say it, I don't think John has ever seen, and I'm gonna say the Aristocats. So for the Aristocats, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say John doesn't even know what that movie is.
Listen, you're saying no. I'm gonna say yes, only because he's a cat person.
Oh,
damn it. You forgot John's a cat person.
Forgot John lives alone with cats.
I own 2 cats.
Come on.
So John, is it safe to say?
Come on. What is it, John? Have you seen Aristocats?
You know how bad I want that lounge fly? It's got all the Disney cats on it, and the Aristocats are all over it. Of course, I've seen the Aristocats.
Oh, we're tied back up.
Tied it up.
And I've seen the Cheetah Girls. All of them, because it was a Disney Channel original movie. It was on my TV every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Cheetah Girls, Cheetah Sisters.
6 p.m. Pacific. I remember that because I remember one day when I finally got a smartphone, we finally got internet in my house, I Googled what is the time zone difference between here and whatever Pacific is. I didn't know.
What?
You didn't need to know the Pacific time.
But I wanted to know what 6 p.m. Pacific time meant.
So every single week when it said airing this week at this time,
I thought it was like 6 o'clock my time here in Atlanta.
You didn't understand why it was putting 2 different times up like that?
Yes, I was confused.
Running to his parents like, Mom, what ocean are we on?
She didn't even know the answer to that either.
I'm pretty sure your mother knew you lived on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, John. I'm pretty sure your mother would know that.
Well, see, I was born in Fort Lauderdale. Now we live in Atlanta, so I don't know like what ocean Georgia touches. Somewhere in Savannah, Georgia. I think we touched the Gulf Coast. I'm not sure.
All right. John, did you just say that Savannah, Georgia touches the Gulf Coast?
Bro, I went to Savannah one time for St. Patrick's Day. I didn't see
Georgia
the ocean. You know what I saw is on the ground.
Georgia as a state is landlocked to the west.
No, we're not.
There is no ocean to the left, to the west
the ocean
of you.
On the east side.
On the east side, that's the Atlantic Ocean. That's not the Gulf Coast. The Gulf Coast is in the Gulf of Mexico, John. It's the Gulf of Mexico. The only places that touch the Gulf Coast are Florida and Mexico.
Texas does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yes, at points. But, John, you're landlocked. You're
and Alabama and
Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of the states that go across to Mexico.
Oh.
I'm just thinking of like the actual Gulf Coast of Florida, but still, John, like, Georgia, Georgia only touches the Atlantic, buddy.
Listen, I hate living in Georgia. I don't care nothing about Georgia.
So, Cole, we've done 5 each already, but we're tied, and I have a couple more if you guys want to keep playing.
They've only done 2.
We've not done 5 each. I've only done 2.
Oh! I'm counting all of our points together.
Total.
Yeah, I'm an ass.
We do a couple more.
We're tied right now.
We're definitely doing a couple more.
We're tied right now at 4 points.
4 points each, yeah.
We're tied at 4 points right now.
All right.
Let's do
Cole, what is your third
first to 6 or something?
So I went back to the classics, and I'm hoping. See, here's where we get into a murky area because some of his answers for like the greatest movies were like really, really established classics, but then he hasn't seen other like well-known or popular Disney movies. So when it comes down to like like ones that were not aired on Disney Channel, is where we get into a bit of a gray area. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he has, but I'm hoping he's seen Pocahontas.
Oh, see, that is weird. I would almost feel like there's more of a chance he's seen Pocahontas than Moana. So, like, I feel like he hasn't watched the recent animation, but I feel like at some point in his life, at some point in his life, he had to see Pocahontas. So I'm also going to say he has seen it.
John?
Am I allowed to speak now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Pocahontas, bro.
Okay.
It's a great movie from the 90s. It's a great movie. I had that thing on VHS, black labeled.
All right.
Black Diamond, whatever it's called.
Now I have one.
We're coming down to the wire.
Now I have one that is up in the air because he has seen the classics, and I know he loves Mickey. But has he seen Fantasia? Has John seen the original Fantasia? You guess first. I'm going to guess. I'm going to put faith in him that he loves Sorcerer Mickey. I've seen the pops in his house. I'm going to say he has seen Fantasia.
I'm going to say he has as well. And based on that same thing, like the love for Sorcerer. Oh, man. But is his love for it because he's watched the
Fantasmic
show at Disney and
has John seen Fantasmic and never
hard.
Fantasia? That's what's crazy here. John can't even look at us right now.
I'm gonna say no because
you have to say no because I feel like John knows he's gonna say no and he's about to get torched.
You're saying yes, I'm saying no. All right, John.
I do love Sorcerer Mickey. Who's Mickey? It's Mickey's evil twin. I do love Fantasmic. I've seen it multiple times. I do love the dinner show at Fantasmic. I don't know if it's even available anymore.
He's never seen it.
Mickey's PhilharMagic has a part of Sorcerer Mickey in there, if I remember correctly. Which, by the way, that's like Donald Duck's Multiverse of Madness, but that's a whole nother story. But I've never watched Fantasmic.
I knew it. I freaking knew it.
There we go.
I knew it. I knew it. You are a fraud, sir. You're a fraud. Fraud.
I just like the outfit of Sorcerer Mickey. I think it's a cool outfit. The sorcerer hat. Old MGM studio vibes.
I feel such immense pain. I feel so much pain.
I do have a plan at one point to go through and watch every single original Disney movie. So I mean, eventually I will. I just gotta, find time.
You disappoint me.
All right.
I'm hurting.
Now we're getting interesting. Next. John, you're a wrestling fan, right?
Yeah, I dibble and dabble in WWE. Okay. Logan Paul's match was pretty good. Big Logan Paul fan.
And
I'm the WWE guy. So,
would you say you've seen a lot of The Rock's movies?
Yeah, I'm a big Dwayne Johnson fan. Me and Dwayne, good friends.
Okay,
we're homies.
Would one of those happen to be Race to Witch Mountain?
Oh, that's a big fat no. I want to say
fat no too, but
I want to say yes so that I can give us different answers and give myself a chance to get a point. But I firmly believe there is no shot he has seen Race to Witch Mountain.
I think he's trying to figure out what movie it is right now. But look, I can't read his facial expressions.
I think he doesn't know the difference between Race to Witch Mountain and Bridge to Terabithia.
No, because that would mean he would have some understanding of Race to Witch Mountain because of the actress.
She has none of. I already said no.
John, just come back and tell us that you've not seen it.
I've never even heard of that movie until right now.
He has no idea what it is.
I've never even heard of that movie until right now.
Now he's like, there's a Disney movie with The Rock called Race to Witch Mountain? Like, what?
I mean, I've heard of Bridge to Terabithia, but I've never heard of...
Listen, it stars the actress from Bridge to Terabithia, the blonde girl.
The Witch Mountain Race to Witch Mountain.
And it also stars a baby version of the actor that plays Kato in The Hunger Games. The big blonde guy from District 2 that's trying to kill Katniss up until the very end.
Yeah, yes, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that's Race to Witch Mountain, John. Good deep cut, Cole.
He's nice he's nice in person. I met him in a Walmart in Miami.
I'm sure Joffrey's nice in person too, but everybody hates him.
I'd probably spit in the actor's face if I ever met him, just cause. All right, next movie. I'm going deep cut. I think it might be the first classic that we might stump John that he hasn't seen. Let's talk about The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh.
I'm gonna say John has no idea what The Rescuers Down Under is. Either he has no idea or he loves it. But I'm gonna say no.
Right? Oh man. Cause see, that's one that I feel like he could watch and not get bored. So
it's a great movie.
I can afford to go the opposite way because it just ties it back up. It's not like I'm losing. I'm gonna say he has seen it. I'm gonna be hopeful that John has seen Rescuers Down Under.
John, have you seen or do you even know what Rescuers Down Under is?
No, I've never watched that movie.
Okay.
Nope, the answer is no. I never watched it.
Come on.
I saw two mouses. I saw two rodents and a child with a kite, and it just didn't seem interesting to me. But I guess they'll never judge a book by its cover.
You don't know who Joanna is. That's a crying shame.
Joanna from the home show, Chip and Joanna? Gaines?
No.
They decorate houses.
No.
No, not Joanna Gaines.
I'm talking about a reptile.
Oh, I don't know then. Well, I thought maybe she was a voice actress before that.
Highly recommend Rescuers.
Joanna Gaines is in Rescuers Down Under. She renovates their little mice house. There's a lot of shiplap.
Yeah, what they're rescuing is actually
one whole piece of shiplap, with how
they're actually just rescuing a messed up house.
Yeah, Rescuers Down Under. It's a renovation down under. She goes to Australia and renovates this house for these people, and they call it Rescuers Down Under. Yeah, it's really great.
John may go the rest of his life believing that. Cool. Your turn.
I don't think there's a chance on this planet he has seen this movie. So this was just my confident pick that no, he has not seen it, and that is The Rocketeer.
Oh, definitely. No way. No way. This isn't me playing defense and keeping it tied. There's no...
The only possible curveball is when Disney Plus first launched. It was one of the only things that they'd thrown on there. It was on the home screen, watch The Rocketeer, because they were putting classics on there. And it's
I can tell you with supreme confidence that even if that happened, he opened it, saw that it was from 1984 and closed it.
He might have started it and then went, oh, this is boring. It's oh, who's this steampunk Iron Man flying here? And now I'm confusing him even more because he has no idea what I'm saying. John, have you seen The Rocketeer?
Have I seen The Rocketeer?
Not Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic.
But The Rocketeer with the stuntman, and he finds the jetpack in the plane.
What? John has seen The Rocketeer?
What's his name? Bill Campton? Bill Campbell? Is the main character, isn't he?
I am genuinely shocked.
No, he hasn't seen it. He looked it up. He hasn't seen it. He looked it up, and he's reading a synopsis right now.
I've seen it.
Troll.
No, it's from the 90s. Was good. I know, it's true. When Disney Plus came out, I watched it. It's exactly how it went. I was like, oh, this is freaking. Because I was like, oh, it's like a 1990s crappy Iron Man. It's literally what I thought.
That's what I said. That was my hope for why he would have watched it, but I didn't think you watched it all the way through. You watched it all the way through.
Yeah. Because when you get to the right there, when Disney Plus came out, that was the first thing you saw when you logged in on the big squares.
It was the only banner.
It was a giant. Yeah, it was the only banner. So I was like, I'll watch it. Okay. Because there was nothing on Disney Plus. I watched that and the Imagineer story in the same night.
I should have gone with
our reactions have to be a clip on that one. Our reactions have to be clipped because
We need
that
a
was
tiebreaker.
pure shock. All right, I got a movie. We could try to break the tie with this one. Oh man, this
if
is
it makes
such
you
a...
feel better, I didn't watch it all the way through. I watched it in like pieces because I was really excited to like keep going with the Imagineering story. It's like I just kind of like watched a little bit more.
So you didn't watch it in one sitting, but
no. I watched it within like a couple hours. Like,
but you couldn't do that with Sword in the Stone.
No,
It's like I'm not going back.
the Sword in the Stone didn't have the Imagineering story come out, which I was 10 times more interested in ever. Which, by the way, for the fans who are out there, I'm a big Disney history person, so I was more interested in that than I was some 1990s wannabe Iron Man, where he didn't build his suit in a cave.
With a box of scraps!
With a box of scraps!
No, he just it fell out of the sky and he got handed it.
Yeah,
right, he got handed it. Unlike Tony Stark's suit, he just got handed everything else in his life.
We must segue into the next movie, which, if Cole and I have different answers, this will be the final one.
Hey, what's the score right now?
We're tied up.
Right now
we're tied, so you want to make this the tiebreaker then?
Yeah, well, we're hoping it will be the tiebreaker.
Okay,
if we have differing answers.
All right, so
next point wins. We'll put it that way.
Next point wins. So
next point wins.
This movie, I feel like there's either no way that it's humanly possible anybody our generation hasn't seen it, but I also feel like it was at an age where John would be like, ew, I'm not watching that. I'm going to say The Princess Diaries. And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say John has seen The Princess Diaries. I just can't imagine anybody not seeing The Princess Diaries. It was marketed.
He has seen it.
Heavily. It was marketed so heavily. Yeah, I'm saying he's seen The Princess Diaries.
I mean, I have to agree with that. I really hope he's seen it. So this isn't going to be the tiebreaker. But John, have you seen The Princess Diaries?
This is not going to be the tiebreaker. I have seen The Princess Diaries.
Okay.
Oh man, now it comes to me, and now I got to think of.
And The Princess Diaries too.
I mean, you got to see the sequel.
Oh, what? I got to think of something.
Guys, they really had like low hopes for me right here. They really did.
John, I still don't understand how you have seen...
Stunning information coming out tonight from my
You saw Rocket Man before Frozen 2, so don't talk about faith. Don't talk about faith. I mean, the Rocketeer, not Rocket Man.
This man is confident in his watching, like, Disney Channel originals, but until what point? At what point did he...
But I explained why I never watched Frozen 2, because I was so sick of the first Frozen being shoved down our throats between merchandise and everything else. I didn't want to watch the second one. I knew the second one was going to be awful, and it was.
Yeah, but you're not sick of Sorcerer Mickey merchandise. You have tons of it, and you've never seen Fantasia. So...
That's right.
This is hard.
Doesn't stand.
It's hard to find stuff Sorcerer Mickey on it these days.
Okay, I think I need something that's going to be a tiebreaker. I can buy anything with
Elsa on it.
Avatar. I bet you he's never seen Avatar.
Has never seen.
I've seen Avatar. I don't know why you would think that.
I don't think you've seen Avalon High.
No, I'm going to say no. There's no way. That can't be the tiebreaker because I don't even think he knows what that movie is.
I don't know what that movie is, so let's go on to the next one.
All right,
it's a Disney Channel original, dude. Come on, get with the program.
Never watched it.
All right, hold on. Now I'm way past my list, so I have to look some stuff up. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Disney Channel. Let's go for DComs. Because I like that category.
I was literally looking at a list.
It's more of
something that you think we would have differing opinions on.
Okay. Here's one that was, and I know that it was generation where he might have been getting into. He might have been getting into high school or at the end of middle school because he's a couple years younger. All right,
26.
John. Have you seen? No, I'm going older. All right, let's go. No, because I think he has seen it. Oh my God, this is so hard. All right, Lemonade Mouth.
See, that's
I'm gonna
almost one of the
say
ones that I said. I almost said that one. What are you saying?
I'm gonna say because of cultural impact and determinate, I'm gonna say that John has seen Lemonade
Well,
Mouth.
that's what I was going to say. So this is again not a tiebreaker.
Damn
John,
it.
have you seen Lemonade Mouth?
No.
Oh, come on.
Damn.
John, you stopped watching it peak Disney Channel original movie.
No, I didn't stop watching. I just never watched that one. I mean,
that was the last good one.
I was a busy bee around that time.
You're gonna okay.
I was having a little too much fun to sit down on Disney Channel on Friday nights.
Herbie fully.
Well, listen, I'm just gonna start rattling off Disney Channel originals, Nico, and until we.
I'm surprised you guys are going like
that
Disney Channel original here. I really am, because I'm gonna be honest. Like up until a certain point, like I eventually stopped watching Disney Channel because I started to like have a life.
Yeah, but you've seen Johnny Capahala back on board, and that was like that wasn't that long ago. That was 2007.
That's 2007. Okay. I'm 26. I graduated high school in 2014.
Okay.
I know what I'm going next.
I'm basically giving you the time point where I stopped watching Disney Channel.
Okay, hold it. You stop. I understand. You stop real quick. Nico, we're going to rattle some off until we disagree on something. Wendy Wu.
He's seen it.
Okay, I think he's seen it as well.
The answer to that would be yes. I've seen Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior.
Okay. He went and finished the title. Okay, Nico. Cowbells.
No.
Yes. Here's our tiebreaker.
Here it is.
And
he has never even heard of it. I've
heard of it.
Listen,
Cowbells.
John,
the anticipation for this right now is so high. It's at the very tippity top of the mountaintop, but we're not even at the top for a high.
It literally came before Wendy Wu. It's the movie right before, and I'm just hopeful that this man.
I know what Cowbells is.
Have you watched Cowbells?
But have I ever watched Cowbells? For the winner of the Has John ever watched this movie, whatever we're calling this game?
Not the name of the game, but it's okay.
I have watched Cowbells.
Oh, goal with the W. Oh, goal with the win.
Cowbells of all movies.
What a tight race. I honestly, I had no idea where to go with that. The next movie I was going to say was Phantom of the Megaplex.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
But here's
what? You've never seen Phantom of the Megaplex?
That sounds like some indie pop cult culture thing.
Have you seen Xenon? Girl of the 21st Century?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Nico. My Cowbells was very calculated. I asked about Wendy Wu because Cowbells came right before Wendy Wu.
Oh, that's insider information. You're looking at a list that's not fair.
You said you were married to look up a list too.
Collusion!
It came right after a High School Musical.
Collusion! I smell collusion.
I stopped watching Disney Channel my sophomore year of high school because I started making.
Oh my god! I forgot this movie even existed. What is this with the Michalka twins?
What?
I don't even know if they're twins. Allie and AJ.
Yeah, they're twins.
This was 2006.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in that movie. They're like the.
Yeah, Allison Michalka is still relevant. AJ has fallen off the map.
Sarah loves them.
All right, Cole gets the W in the Has John Cena game. It was gripping down to the very last point.
They really thought I wasn't going to see a lot of movies. And I'm surprised they went with Disney Channel original movies here.
As my prize, the next week's episode is the Mouse Bros and Nico. Because I know something better.
Stop that.
I'm just really surprised. I really thought there was going to be more older movies, Sword in the Stone type movies, movies from the early Disney days.
Your list last week, I would have had nothing but older movies, but your list last week and some of the movies that you spoke about, even from your personal list, I was like, shoot, I have no idea what this man has seen or not. Because the way you talked about Dumbo and everything, and stuff. I was like, I don't know what this man has seen and what he has not.
You're also saying it like it's so ridiculous and we have no faith in you. You only have seen half of Sword in the Stone. You haven't seen Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, which was chalk right in the middle of all those
I know what
decoms.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off is.
You haven't seen Fantasia, and you've got Sorcerer Mickey slapped all over your apartment. You haven't seen The Rescuers Down Under. So, yeah, we have no faith because there was a lot of movies you haven't seen.
Walmart has
but you've seen The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that'll do it for episode 2. Another entertaining one. Let's go ahead and throw some shameless plugging out there. You can find me on TikTok at Neekflix, on Instagram still as Disney, because that's where I post more of my Disney stuff now. Cole, where can the good people find you at?
You guys know me. Good old Bibbidi Bobbidi Beard. That's with the B's, not P's. Make sure you spell it right. And that's across all platforms. Instagram. I just started YouTube. I have only made one post. Don't shoot the messenger for saying that. But yeah, you can find me there. But TikTok is my home. Find me on TikTok.
And Mr.
John
Does Diz.
Mr. Does Diz, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been John Does Diz, and I just want to thank you all for tuning in this week to the Mouse Bros podcast. You can find me on all social medias at John Does Diz on Instagram, Twitter, and the Clock app, otherwise known as TikTok.
Yeah, so John
go ahead, follow all the socials out there.
John was in my phone as John Does Diz for a long time, and my wife thought his last name was Does Diz. Like it was just a long, like Doesdis, like John Does Diz. But yeah, I mean,
he's in my phone as Disney Jim Bro.
I am your local Disney Jim Bro.
Well, yeah, that'll do it. I feel like there was
in case
one
those who
other
are wondering,
thing.
today was chest day, chest and shoulder day.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to do. I didn't discuss it with the guys. It kind of just popped in my head. This is something that we can do every week. Give you guys a little bit of insight. If the guys are totally against it, I will edit it out and post. But I would love for this week to give a Listener of the Week award. And the person that I would give it to, we've already discussed, would easily be Zay the Grouch.
100%.
For first of all, being one of the first people to listen, giving us incredible feedback, honest feedback, telling us what you thought, reaching out to all of us separately, interacting with all of our posts on TikTok. The guys, I mean, we're both seem to be in agreement.
Shout out,
I think it's a great idea to do.
He is an incredible person.
Yeah, so
drop
I think
a follow on his TikTok, I think it's a great idea. His Twitch. Go follow him on Twitch. He's very close to the affiliate over there.
We'll keep that going. We'll discuss it in the group chat, and we'll try to do a Listener of the Week every week. I can tell you this, it was just posted today, so we'll go into next week, but very early front runner for next week is going to be Main Street Matt, our boy Matt, because he posted a really great video today talking about his top 5 Disney movies. But yeah, interact. We love interaction. Interact with us. Let us know. Give us feedback, and you could hear your name on the podcast. And
yeah, I got 2 more things before we end it right here. I just want to say thank you to everybody who texted me, sent me a message on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you got a hold of me of, and gave me feedback and said how funny I was and how great I was. That meant a lot to me to hear from people. So that was kind of cool. And then this is for me and Nico both, guys. If you don't know, if you're planning a Disney vacation, we are both travel agents with Making Magical Moments travel agents. Go to that website, click on me or his name. If you're planning your next Disney trip, go ahead and let one of us plan it, and let's make those magical moments with me and Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. We can get you booked anywhere. And Cole, you had something?
Also, we're gonna go ahead and shamelessly plug. There is the TikTok account. If you do not know, there's the TikTok account. It's just the Mouse Bros, _Mouse_Bros. Same logo. It's the same name across all platforms. Today, our first post that we made on that account hit 1,000 views. So I mean, I think that's a milestone, and we're just 5 followers away from hitting 100. Now, obviously, our biggest goal, and probably one of our only real goals, truly with the TikTok, since that's just a way for us to share more about the podcast, is we would really love to get that account one day to 1,000 followers, so that we could go live from that account. Because what we're thinking we're going to do is that one of the 3 of us will be live during the podcast recording. Now, What's crazy about that is you're only going to hear one individual's perspective of what's happening because we all have headsets on and you can't actually hear everything. But we'd love to be able to engage and interact with the individuals that are watching the live. Maybe give you a shout out, whoever's watching the live as the broadcast is being recorded. That is another way that we'd like to be able to shout out to listeners and followers of the account. So anyone you know that loves Disney, that loves podcasts, that just loves funny, real Disney content, let them know. Share that account with them. Tell them to go follow the account. We're not going to be posting too much on there. Obviously, just maybe clips and sneak peeks of what's going to be coming out on the episode or something funny during the week that's based off of something that happened in that week's episode. So that's really just kind of a fun outlet for us, but go check it out. And the Instagram was where we will be posting about upcoming, any special things that we do, upcoming episodes, if we do anything, upcoming guests, things like that. So definitely go follow that as well to know what next week's topic is. So maybe if it's something you're not familiar with, maybe you can go watch it and familiarize yourself with it before you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, and another thing we discussed, if enough of you guys reach out and you'd be interested in it, we would love to start a subscription service like Patreon where we can do, just for mainly one specific thing, to do Disney watch parties, get everybody involved. You would have, our big old heads on the screen reacting to the movies, almost podcast style. But you will be able to be in a chat, talking to us directly, letting us know what you think. You'll get to see, John's reactions are obviously hilarious. So you will get to see John's reactions and kind of react to them yourselves in real time. There's just a million opportunities for things that we can do. Sky's the limit, but most of it and all of it is to get you all more involved. We want the listeners and the friends of the podcast.
We want everyone to engage in everything.
Of course,
That's the fun part about doing all this, is being able to interact with. I don't like to call you followers. I like to call you friends because you really are friends of mine. So
yeah, it's exactly why I use that word.
I don't really like the term follower. I like the term friends more, I guess.
Friends, listeners, whatever
if you come
it
up
is,
to me and say hello, I want to say hello. I like talking to you. So
yeah, and after that first episode, I got reached out to
comment and subscribe.
Yeah, from a few people who I didn't even know were friends and didn't even know had followed my content for any time, and had reached out to me and told me that they liked the podcast. And just one person sent me 3 Loungefly bags and was like, "What bag should I pick out of these 3?" And I was like, I think you should pick the Mickey one because it was Christmas Mickey, and that's one of my favorite bags that's out right now. But just more people that I didn't even know were out there reached out after the podcast. So keep doing that. Keep reaching out to all of us. We are not the people that are going to ignore you because we have a following. We want more people interacting. We want friends. We want everybody to feel at home. We want you to come to this podcast weekly and be able to shut your mind off, listen to common interests that you have with us, and experience like a little weekly dose of Disney magic.
When people message me because I don't see the message. Like, I have all my social media notifications turned off, so it's like I feel bad when I don't see a DM for a day or two, and I'm like, oh crap, I feel terrible.
And Nico,
yes,
Disney feels good in a place like this.
Ending it right there. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Thanks for tuning in. Ta-ta for now.
Follow us, you freaking Disney addict. Oh, that didn't come out right. I tried saying addicts. That's a blooper.
I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it in. Leave it in.
I tried. You were cutting it off. I tried saying it real fast. Follow us, you freaking Disney addicts.
Bye.